Let's paint a picture to get things started. Let's go back 2 decades, it's 2004, and the Under-17 European Championship is graced by 3 future French superstars: Karim Benzema, Samir Nasri, and Hatem Ben Arfa. Each of these 3 were destined for greatness. While Benzema won his Ballon d'Or in 2022 and Nasri won several Premier League titles with Man City, the story of Ben Arfa is perhaps the biggest what-if tale in 21st century football. So, let us take a look at what made Ben Arfa so special and ultimately what caused his eventual downfall. To say that football ran in Hatem Ben Arfa's genes would not be an understatement. Inheriting the love of football from his father Kamel, who to his credit was also a very talented footballer, even turning up for the Tunisian national side, Hatem's first footballing role model was his own father. However, circumstances cut Kamel's football journey short as he arrived in France to work at a foundry. But his failed ambitions to reach the very top of the beautiful game were to be fulfilled by his son Hatem. And even from the early days, he was a sight to behold. While Karim Benzema might have been the one who got the dream transfer to Real Madrid, Ben Arfa was also quite a special talent at Lyon. Able to launch some exceptional rockets from his left foot, the Frenchman always had some magical strikes up his sleeves. From a majestically placed shot versus Lorient to an exceptional half volley against Paris Saint-Germain, Ben Arfa always had an eye for the spectacular. And while he did show flashes of brilliance, he was never an easy player to manage. After being moved on to Marseille, the pattern of toxicity continued with bust-ups with his managers and getting frozen out of the squad. But breaking the mold, Ben Arfa found the Magpies as his home, moving to Newcastle first on a loan spell which later became a permanent. Only 2 goals in the history of the FA Cup have ever been nominated for the Puskás Award, and out of those 2, this Ben Arfa goal is the clear winner. Back in 2011-12, Newcastle was still in the Mike Ashley era, with moments of excitement and delight few and far between. But with Hatem Ben Arfa, they saw 2 of the best goals they would see for a long time in the space of 3 months. In the FA Cup third-round tie, Steve Kean's Blackburn saw themselves ahead at 70 minutes looking at an unlikely win at St James's Park, but Ben Arfa was having none of it. Receiving the ball barely inside his own half, Ben Arfa kept twisting and turning and baffling Blackburn defenders, particularly embarrassing Martin Olsen, before making goalkeeper Mark Bunn look absolutely helpless. It was truly a sight to behold. Jonas Gutierrez, who scored the winner in the tie, later gave Ben Arfa's goal perhaps the most glowing praise possible for a goal. That goal reminded me of Diego Maradona's against England in 1986. And who can forget his iconic run against Bolton? While some may argue that his best moments would come in the Champions League and the World Cup with France, the goal against Bolton showed that his talent surely belonged at that level. Just 3 months later from his Blackburn goal, Ben Arfa had another goal for Newcastle fans to celebrate. Receiving the ball in his own half yet again, the move started with a first touch that was a turn and a dribble at the same time. Soon enough, he was in the opponent's box with Papi Cissé expecting a through ball. Surely he was not going to go all the way himself, but sure he did. In a truly magnificent way, Ben Arfa kept going, and as the Bolton defenders decided to step in, he skipped past them with no hesitation, only to calmly slot it inside the net. Ben Arfa was 24 back then, and it seemed like the world was seeing the birth of a superstar, but of course, it wasn't meant to be. From falling out of favour first at Newcastle and then Hull due to his inconsistency, Ben Arfa was back in France with Nice. The best season of Ben Arfa's topsy-turvy career came at Nice in 2016-17. Claude Puel was somehow managed to get the best out of a player many thought would be the heir to Zidane. It all started at the 3rd game of the season as Nice were deadlocked 1-1 against Cannes. And as Ben Arfa received the ball on the left wing, no one could have predicted that the ball would be in the back of the net within the next 5 seconds. While most people would have passed to their fullbacks, that was just not how Ben Arfa played. The Nice number 9 would continue to produce such moments of magic, playing at the tip of the diamond in midfield. A goal against Saint-Étienne would prove to be another highlight, as his exceptional close control was too good for 4 defenders who all seemed out of their depth against the French wizard. Ben Arfa continued to praise Claude Puel for his return to the spotlight. "My relationship with Claude is like that of a father and son," he once commented. After a glorious season at Nice, a move to PSG surely made sense. But unfortunately for Ben Arfa, it was another ugly spell in his disappointing career. A feud with Emery meant that he was frozen out of the squad, so much so that he celebrated 1 year out of the squad with an Instagram post. Shortly after, another move was to happen, and if you've lost track by now, Ben Arfa has played for 10 different sides in his career, a number only topped by 4 other players in the top 5 leagues in the 21st century, including another mercurial midfielder, Kevin Prince Boateng. He was last seen playing for Lille, racking up 8 overall appearances, but currently the French international remains without a club. When asked to dwell on why Ben Arfa failed to live up to his potential, his ex-agent Frédéric Guerra blamed his immaturity as the basic reason as to why he couldn't make it big. Besides that, not having the right people in his ears might have played a part. Guerra also recalls one such incident with Ben Arfa's advisor, Michel Orzan. "I remember once in Marseille, Didier Deschamps had put him on the bench. Michel told me, he's put him on the bench because he doesn't defend. We shouldn't ask a future Ballon d'Or winner to defend. So while the likes of Benzema went through the grind of working hard and staying humble, Ben Arfa had the talent but without the application to take it to the next level. It's no coincidence that the only thing that Ben Arfa has been able to sustain throughout his career is his exceptional dribbling. He's a showman for the ages, someone who breaks the tactical cage and can easily drive past the whole defense on his heyday. Since 2006, only Leo Messi and Neymar Jr. have completed more dribbles per 90 minutes than the 4.3 dribbles that Ben Arfa completes per game. But since his rise as a young footballer in the famous Clairefontaine Academy, his temperament has always been an issue, famously quarreling with another young bloke called Abu Diaby, who deserves a video of his own, by the way. But this never-ending pattern of altercations, fights and switches was always going to take its toll. Every time that Ben Arfa has had a good spell, it's either followed by an ill-advised move, a falling out with a manager, or an incredible dip in form on his part. And such discrepancies are only tolerated if you've got the on-pitch shenanigans to back it up. And from time to time, Ben Arfa has turned up with a few reminders of his exceptional talent. When Ben Arfa was asked about his infamous temper and the reasons for it back in 2012, he attributed a lot of it to an estranged father-son relationship. "Since I was very small, I've been very impulsive. I fought all the time. It is true that my father never told me that he loved me. Such generosity has been lacking in my life. While the lack of a father figure might be a major compounding factor, it can't be the sole reason for his downfall." So some may argue, hey, he's earned millions of euros, secured a future for himself and his family, and won 5 Ligue 1 titles along the way. He shouldn't feel too bad about himself. But the aspiring young winger who top scored at the 2004 Under-17 European Championship promised so much more. As the 35-year-old Ben Arfa remains without a club, he could have easily achieved as much as his Lyon teammate Karim Benzema, who won the Ballon d'Or, justifying his talent with his exceptional work ethic. As for Ben Arfa, it's tough to resist the feeling of what could have been, no matter how cliched it sounds.